I speak to you in the name of the one holy and living God. Please be seated. When I came to the phrase in today's gospel text describing the wise men as being overwhelmed with joy, well, everything in me just came to a screeching halt. What happens when we are overwhelmed with joy? We're sort of stopped in our tracks, kind of gasp, take a deep breath, and we can almost hear the words of that prophet, 3rd Isaiah. And then you shall see and be radiant. You shall see and be radiant, and your heart will thrill and rejoice. Because we're full and overflowing, and we're full and overflowing because the abundance of the sea will come upon us. Nothing is left out in those moments. And the wealth of the nations will come to us. There is nothing more to seek. In the moment of pure joy, we are full and overflowing. So there's a special kind of knowing that accompanies the experience of being overwhelmed with joy. It's a knowing that surpasses rational understanding. It's a knowing that's rich and ripe and radiant. And when we let that radiance just sort of glow through us, we are transformed. And naturally, we want to do just what the wise men did. Open up our treasure chests, the chests of our hearts, and give the best and the fullness of ourselves. Here's the thing. We, all of us, we are the wise ones. We have been enlightened with the star. It has illumined our mind. We know the child is born and lives and breathes and glows through us. The question is, are we willing to open the treasure chests of ourselves and to give ourselves away radiantly to illumine and glorify the world? On December 21st, just a little while ago, low in the southwestern sky, Saturn and Jupiter crossed paths, and for a moment it appeared as if they were a single celestial body. Many people thought perhaps this could be the second coming of the Star of Bethlehem. Well, contemporary theologians are pretty sure that the 2,000-year-old story that we love of the Star of Bethlehem is really unlikely to have been a celestial event, because stars really don't behave that way. They don't sort of rise in the east and head to the west, then stop and drop down to the south and hover over a dwelling. So it's much more likely that the writer of Matthew's text used star as a metaphor to accentuate the importance of the birth of a peasant child. Nonetheless, the actual celestial event on the 21st of December 2020 was really pretty exciting. It came at the heels of a year fraught with every order of disease, disappointment, disaster. And so this gleaming star of Bethlehem in the night sky above us just blossomed with hope. Because it called us to put down all the things we'd been concerned about and fussed about, to step outside into the night, to enter the darkness, the unknown, and to gaze quietly into the sky, and to be open to be surprised, and to let our imagination soar. Just like the words of the prophet Isaiah. And then you shall see and be radiant. It affects us, it changes us. and our hearts will thrill and rejoice because we're overwhelmed with joy in the face of something beautiful and glorious that took us out of ourselves. See, we are to see and be. See and be radiant like the wise men. And we can do that when we stop our preoccupation with the myriad details of our ordinary lives. We take the risk to walk outside, to go into the darkness of uncertainty, to be open to the possibility of something new that we don't understand. Turn a corner, try a new way, a way illumined by the light of joy. That's how we make room to be overwhelmed by joy. You see, we cannot strive to contrive joy. No matter how many vacations we plan, no matter how many cruises, no matter how much stuff we buy, no matter where we live or what we do, we can't make joy happen. We can only be willing to be present for it to rise in us and through us. I've been reading a book on leadership. It's called Flying Lead Change. And it gleans its wisdom from the nature of horses and humans. And so, quoting one of her teachers, the author, Kelly Wendorf, writes this: "Do not let your dreams obscure the joy that is already here." Did you get that? I think that's a brilliant piece of wisdom. And I pray we each take it to heart. Do not let your dreams obscure the joy that is already here. We are meant not only to see, but to be the radiance of the star. And sometimes the dreams of what we think we need or want or absolutely cannot possibly live without obscures the reality of what we already have, which is everything. So the prophet reminds us, arise, shine, for the light has come. Not the light will come, the light has come. And the glory of the Lord has risen in you, in all of us. That which we seek is already here. Sometimes our dreams obscure our joy. Still, the abundance of the sea has come upon us. Nothing is missing. Everything is here right now. And the wealth of all the nations is ours. There is nothing left out. There is nothing more for us to seek, people. And that's why our call to action for 2021 is to become fully human. And the way we do that is by allowing joy to rise through us, radiate out, and enlighten the world. We bring that good news by who we are and how we be. We be radiant. Poor English, but that's kind of how it is. We be radiant. You know, in this precious story, we love this story about the Epiphany. You know, the star, the baby, and all of that. But here's the hidden secret. We, each one of us is the star. We, each one of us, is the wise person. And we, each one of us, is the hope of the poor peasant child. Amen. I'll begin with an action aimed at what is right. And I'm guessing you probably can guess what it might be. Making ourselves available to joy. And I'd like to suggest that if you would make a promise to yourself as many times a day to pause and simply say, How awesome is this place? How awesome this moment? That after about a week of doing that, you'll be feeling something different. How awesome is this place? How awesome is this moment? Whether I'm working, or cooking, or resting, walking, driving, how awesome is this place? How awesome this moment?